the best of the week on Relevant Radio. All Saints Day means All Saints all day.
Incredible journeys of faith, heroic holiness.
Welcome back to great stories about great saints on Relevant Radio.
And the Relevant Radio app.
Well, hello, we're back. And we're talking saints today, and Brother André, that's what we called him, and he was an in-law. Seriously. My sister-in-law, whose maiden name was La Jeunesse, she was... her background had French-Canadian in it, and she was a cousin, distant, but a cousin of St. André Bessette. And so there's another little connection. You know, the André Bessette, St. André, is strangely similar in some ways to Brother Solanus. He was a porter also at a priory, and he had a tragic childhood too, very difficult, and he went from job to job at one point. Well, he was born Alfred. His birth name was Alfred Bessette. He was born in Quebec, near Montreal. His father was a carpenter, a lumberman, and his mother educated the children, and they only had 12 children, whereas the Casey family had 16, so small family. Well, at birth, St. André was so frail that the priest baptized him in an emergency. Because they didn't think he would survive. His family moved to Farnham. He was a lumberman, a lumberjack, and he was killed tragically by a falling tree when little Alfred Bessette was only 9 years old. And then his mother was 40, had 10 children left in her care. She died of tuberculosis 3 years later. So little Alfred Bessette was an orphan at the age of 12. And, you know, he had a great devotion to St. Joseph. And I wonder if it wasn't because he saw in St. Joseph a father after his father had been taken from him. Well, he was kind of farmed out to a different family, the Nadeau family, and the Nadeau family taught him the faith. That's where he learned the devotion. He had a great devotion to St. Joseph and to the sufferings of Christ, to the passion of Christ. He was sent to the school when he was 14, but he only learned to read and to sign his name, both with difficulty. He was not like Brother Solanus. He was not well educated. He didn't take to education. So St. André, Alfred, soon left to the Nadeaus, and then he was taken in by the mayor of Saint-César, a small town in Canada, Louis Ouimet. And he went from job to job. He was a farmer, he was a tinsmith, a blacksmith, a wheelwright, a cobbler, baker, but he was just too physically weak because of his childhood illnesses, not unlike Blessed Solanus. So he went to Connecticut. There's actually French Americans, French speakers in places like Connecticut. When he was 18, and he worked with some of his relatives at a textile mill, and then he went back to Canada in 1867. So he discovered a religious vocation. He was not ordained a priest. He was a brother. He joined the Brotherhood of the Holy Cross, and he was recommended by his pastor to this congregation of the Holy Cross. And the pastor said, "I'm sending you a saint." He was rejected by the order because of his frail health, not unlike our friend Blessed Solanus, who, well, we don't know if you have a religious vocation because you're not that smart, you're not that, you're not perfect. Well, he was finally let in because the Archbishop of Montreal recognized his sanctity, and so he was accepted into the novitiate of the congregation and was given the name André. So that's the name he was known by for the rest of his life, and that's the name under which he was canonized. And he was the porter at a school at Notre Dame in the province of Quebec, and he worked as the sacristan in the laundry, and he carried messages. So he began to minister to the sick while he was at the college, and this greatly upset people. He would recommend people to the prayers of St. Joseph. One of his favorite mottos is Ite ad Joseph, go to Joseph. He would anoint people. Now, he wasn't a priest, but he would anoint people with oil taken from the oil lamps in front of the shrine of St. Joseph. And people began to be healed. And he wouldn't take any credit for that. It was St. Joseph who did the healing. he launched a campaign to build a little chapel in honor of St. Joseph. Well, this didn't make people happy because there were so many sick people coming to the college to see the doorkeeper that the school officials said, you can't continue your ministry. People were afraid that they'd get sick. So this is another connection with the Blessed Solanus. He was able to go to the local tramway station. In other words, kind of what we would call in Chicago an L stop. He went to the bus station and he was allowed to minister there at this trolley station. Now, remember the Brother Solanus, the Blessed Solanus drove a trolley. So there were a lot of people in the congregation of the Holy Cross, and the teachers and students and parents who thought this was great, but there were a lot who said, no, this is too dangerous to the school's reputation, and maybe he's a charlatan, and they're going to get the kids sick with all these sick people. So in 1924, he started this campaign to build a basilica, St. Joseph's Oratory, which is an incredible church. It's worth visiting. In Montreal, of course, that's where he's buried. So his life was amazing. The thousands and thousands of people attribute their healing to St. André Bessette. And just fascinating, French Canada is in a difficult situation spiritually. A lot of people have rejected the faith. But you talk to a Quebecois, a French Canadian, about Brother André, and I should call him Saint André, but Brother André is what we always called him. That's what my sister-in-law called him. But Saint André, Brother André, he scratched the surface with a French Canadian, and they love Saint André, and he keeps them clinging to Christ despite themselves, I think. Well, he's buried. His heart is in a reliquary, but then the rest of him is in a tomb in the church. But I guess, was it 100? It's thought that 1 million people, it's estimated, filed past his coffin. 1 million people. 20,000 came to Father Solanus's funeral, but 1 million filed past his coffin, it's thought. This entire episode of Father Simon Says is on the Relevant Radio app. The Relevant Radio app is completely free and updated daily with fresh articles, podcasts, and prayers. Don't delay. Download the app today, and thanks for listening.